In today's video, we will go over a knowledge base update that recently got released on March 3rd, 2026. In this update, we've done several improvements under the hood that will actually make sure that AI gives a lot better responses and stays on topic much better than it previously did. We also have some new features inside that will sort of minimize the token usage as much as possible when there's no viable answer for the AI to provide. This cuts down the cost for around 2 to 3 times for insufficient answers, which in the long run should save you a little bit of tokens, and you'll be able to provide much more answers within your budget. But to begin with, we will head over to our website, TicketCord.net, and once you log in, you add a bot, add it to the server. You will need a Pro or Enterprise plan to access this feature. We'll head over to the AI Features tab. In this tab, we can enable the AI features, and we can put this to Premium or Light. It really depends. Light model will be able to provide a lot more answers than Premium. Premium model is a little bit more expensive token-wise, so you will burn your tokens a bit quicker, but the responses might be better. This is purely something you should test and see which type of response you like more. We will keep it on light for the sake of this video. And on the content, we will send full content. If you need, you can click the info button here and it's gonna provide you a full explanation of each feature. We'll scroll down and we will click knowledge base. Now if you click edit, we can enable the feature itself. We're prompted with adding the knowledge base source itself right here. This will be a web page. You can choose Discord channel or GitHub repository. We'll go back to our documentation. Now I will provide just the core link to the site itself. You will not provide a whole link, just the domain itself with a subdomain if you have it like this. We can add it a title. And let's index up to 75 pages, although the documentation has much less. You click add and save. Now, right here, we will have to wait for the AI to actually go through all of the pages it found and basically learn based on the pages. So we're going to wait for that right now. Indexing has completed. It took a couple of minutes, but this is purely because we had over 50 pages to index. Now we can scroll down and we can actually add a status page integration right here. We support 2 integrations, BetterStack and Atlassian. Now we're not going to go over this, but if you do have your status pages, this is fairly useful because the AI will know if your system has any downtime. And if a user opens a ticket and asks that they're getting a certain error, AI can sort of correlate that with the current downtime that's happening. Although might not be perfect, we will still work on this a lot more to make it better, but it does its job for now. In the AI settings, we can fill product profile and custom instructions. This was highly requested by some users, so we went ahead and implemented this. We're not going to cover this in this video, but you can sort of instruct AI in a certain way about your topic. And if you have any preferences in how it should respond, you can write that in the custom instructions. Just keep it concise. This is why you have 2000 word limit in here, just because the more you put, the worse it can get. So simplicity is the key as well here. In the suggestion settings, the default threshold will be 50%, just so the more information is fed to the AI. We're going to keep it at 50%. In the response style, we will keep it balanced. Ticket context. Now, if your ticket is getting a little bit longer, the AI can sort of make it forget the past in the ticket. So the more tickets you provide to the AI, the higher cost will be because you're feeding more data to it. But we would suggest you keeping all messages just because the AI will have full context, but you can also keep it on 20, 50 messages. Just remember that if your ticket exceeds that threshold, the AI will forget what the user initially said. So if it has to recall to the initial information, it will not be able to. Smart result routing and enhanced understanding. These features we highly suggest actually using. It will increase your token usage, but as said, performance increase vastly out-leverages the cost itself. So highly suggested, but as the note says, you will need to re-index your sources for this to take in effect. We're not going to re-index right now, but just saying, before you add the source itself, highly suggest enabling these features. We can show source information. This is highly suggested for testing purposes, but in production, we suggest turning this off just so the message itself is not overly confusing. Confidence score you can also turn off, but keeping it on right now for the testing. In the behavior, we can instruct it how to behave here. AI auto close. If the user somehow said the ticket can be closed, they're not familiar how to close it, or like the issue is solved and they say, oh, thank you, you can close this ticket now. The AI will interpret that as being able to close the ticket, and it will close the ticket for the user. This feature will basically wait before staff responds. It will not try to take the ticket first. It will wait for the staff to initially start the ticket and then take over from there. We can also feed the AI users roles. This is useful if you go back to AI settings and you give it custom instructions. We can tell it if the user has XYZ role, do, YXZ. So you can instruct it to do certain things based on the user's roles. We can respect staff presence. So if the staff is actually actively helping in the ticket, the AI will not interfere with it because it's just extra noise. So it's configured to last 5 minutes, and if the staff is not helping for 5 minutes, the AI will take over again. Respond outside business hours. Useful for those that want to handle tickets manually, but while they're asleep, they want the AI to sort of handle it for them, sort of providing 24/7 support. This will work only if you actually configure your business hours, which is enterprise feature. Stop on staff response. Basically AI will stop suggesting once a staff member responds to the ticket, and it will not interfere with staff. In the feedback section, you can configure a lot of things. For the escalation, we recommend having this at 30 seconds. It will basically allow the user to send more messages. If they send some message that the AI doesn't know answer to, but they follow up within 30 seconds with something AI knows how to answer, it will answer that question instead of escalating the ticket immediately. You can set how long the ticket is escalated for. We would advise using it for example, 1 day, but you can also have it permanent, and then the ticket will not resume. So if the ticket was already escalated, for example, and we had it 1 day, and then 2 days later, customer asks something in the ticket, AI will actually take over and try to respond instead of ignoring it. I would enable staff-only voting, just so your users don't interfere with the learning itself, because the AI can learn based on your voting. If you upvote it and say it's helpful, it will actually understand that and sort of boost that answer and prioritize it next time. But if you say it's not helpful and you explain actually what's not helpful, it will learn based on that. Now let's save everything and let's head over to Discord now. I will actually have to send an embed. Now we're going to have a customer basically open a ticket on their end as a simulation. And now inside of the ticket, we can see the customer has opened the ticket. Let's say we have a question. Since we index our documentation, we can, for example, take some question from here. Let's say Okay, let's use add command as an example right here. So let's say the customer asks, how do I use add command? Let's head over back to the server. We can see the customer is typing, and once they send the message, the AI in the background will analyze the user's message and run it across the sources that we gave it. We can see that it's actually forming an answer, because when it's forming an answer, we made it appear as it's typing. And it wrote here, you can use /add command to add a user or role to the current ticket. The command requires user or role argument, which can be a user or a role. The person or role added will gain access to the view and send message in the ticket. And it basically went over everything we saw right there on the website. It basically explained it just how we explained it right here. And it actually sent a direct link to the same page right here to sort of guide a user where they can read more about it. And as seen down here, it took 2 pages as a source, basically as something he read and formed the answer from. And it was 95% confident that this answer is actually correct answer. And this is 100% accurate answer. Now, this is basically how the AI works. We can ask it some other question. Let's see. We can also ask it about approvals. Now, if the user asks the same question once again, you will not be billed for the bot responding to that question, but only if the question is identical to what I previously asked. So you're not going to be billed any token usage for same answers, but that is only within the same ticket. If the other user asks the same question in a different ticket, you're actually going to be billed for that. And we can see it actually explain it once again. Perfect explanation, just as the documentation explained it, and it sent us to the correct page at the bottom as well. So that's basically it from the knowledge base itself. It's fairly simple to use, and we think that we have one of the better AI assistants right now currently available on Discord. There is a couple of different solutions, but there's not many, and we think we're still ahead of the game here. So if you do want to try this feature, you can try it for 7 days free. Pro and enterprise plans are free for 7 days to try. I recommend trying enterprise plan just because you get access to all of our AI features. Some of the AI features in here are actually enterprise only, as well as business hours and similar. So get enterprise plan, test it out. If you have any issues, you can join our support server and you can open a ticket inside, and we will be glad to help you. And if you have any suggestions for features itself, you can also open a ticket in Discord and we will gladly look at it and evaluate if it's worth adding. So that's about the knowledge base. In the next video, we'll probably cover a new feature. We're working on a widget, web widget to be more particular here. You can embed a widget on your website which will appear as a chat. For example, you can configure it to appear bottom left, and when a user clicks that, it opens a little chat window, and once the user types something in there, you'll actually get a channel created in your Discord which you can use to communicate with the user on the website. So they are not particularly required to have a Discord account, but they can directly contact you on Discord through the website itself. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.